What happens when the biggest breakout phenomenon in modern sports history decides she has had enough of unfair media narratives and targeted commentary? Over the past several months, the sports world and mainstream media outlets have been locked in a fierce, unprecedented debate surrounding Indiana Fever superstar Caitlin Clark and her meteoric rise in the WNBA. For a long time, traditional sports media figures and broadcast analysts attempted to frame Clark's revolutionary popularity as nothing more than a product of racial preference and geographic identity. However, in modern sports entertainment, when biased media narratives cross the line into reputational harm, the pushback is fast, powerful, and relentless. Following months of viral clips, heated online debates, and intense fan outrage over statements made by ESPN analyst Monica McNutt, the sports community has hit a massive breaking point. Today, we are bringing you the complete, unfiltered breakdown of this sensational conflict, analyzing the double standards in mainstream sports broadcasting, the massive financial impact of the Caitlin Clark effect, and how this landmark media showdown is permanently changing the rules of sports commentary forever. To fully grasp how this controversy spiraled into a nationwide media storm, we have to look back at where the fire officially started. Rising ESPN commentator and WNBA analyst Monica McNutt appeared during a high-profile broadcast interview on the BBC to discuss the unprecedented surge in women's basketball popularity. However, instead of attributing Clark's massive viewership numbers to her generational court vision, historic Logo 3 shooting, or record-breaking college career at Iowa, McNutt made a controversial statement that instantly went viral. She asserted that Clark's immense popularity was heavily tied to her identity as a middle-class athlete from the heartland of America, suggesting that her fanbase was largely built on demographic relatability rather than pure basketball dominance. Within hours of the interview airing, clips were uploaded across social media platforms, amassing millions of views and triggering an explosive wave of backlash. Critics, sports analysts, and millions of fans immediately called out the framing, arguing that reducing a generational athlete's historic achievements to identity politics was deeply disrespectful to her talent, her hard work, and the millions of young fans of all backgrounds who tune in every week to watch her play. As the viral footage dominated social media feeds, independent podcasters, former athletes, and sports commentators began highlighting what they viewed as an undeniable double standard across mainstream sports networks. Analysts pointed out that when other marquee athletes inspire young fans across the country, their success is celebrated as pure talent and cultural inspiration. Yet, when Caitlin Clark attracted sold-out arenas, doubled WNBA draft ticket prices, and broke all-time television viewership records, certain media figures attempted to diminish her achievements by framing her fandom through a narrow racial lens. Basketball commentators quickly challenged this narrative, pointing to statistical evidence and highlight reels. Fans don't spend 3 hours watching basketball games or waiting in long lines for autographs simply because of a player's background. They tune in to witness deep three-pointers, no look behind the back passes, and game-changing playmaking that the league has never seen before. The attempt to categorize young kids holding homemade banners and wearing jersey numbers as racially motivated fan bases sparked deep frustration among basketball lovers nationwide. When you strip away the noisy media narratives and look at the cold, hard numbers, the commercial reality becomes completely undisputed. The Caitlin Clark effect isn't an imaginary media hype train. It is a multi-million-dollar economic shift that single-handedly revitalized the business of women's basketball. Before Clark entered the league, WNBA draft ticket prices hovered at modest levels. Upon her arrival, draft ticket prices skyrocketed, doubling in value almost overnight. Attendance figures across WNBA arenas reached historic 20-year highs, jumping by nearly 50% in a single season with over 2 million fans filling seats. Television ratings for her games routinely shattered records, outperforming high-profile men's college games and professional matchups alike. In college, her championship and Final Four appearances drew over 18 million viewers' ratings that dropped by more than half the following year when she was no longer in the tournament. Statistical data does not require social commentary or ideological spin. The numbers prove beyond any doubt that Caitlin Clark is the primary driver of mainstream viewership and commercial revenue in modern basketball. The fallout from these hostile media takes didn't just stay inside television studios. It bled directly onto the basketball court. Analysts and sports insiders began connecting the dots between aggressive media commentary and the physical, hostile treatment Clark frequently faced during games. Hard fouls, persistent verbal hostility, and uncalled elbows to the head seemed less like random competitive basketball and more like a direct extension of the media's narrative. When high-profile commentators continually frame a superstar as an overhyped symbol of privilege rather than an earned champion, it creates an environment where rival players feel justified in physically targeting her on national television. Fans and independent journalists grew furious, pointing out that instead of protecting and celebrating the single player responsible for expanding league revenue, chartered flights, and player salaries, certain media figures and rival personalities seemed determined to tear her down out of jealousy and resentment. This intense dynamic reached its absolute breaking point when reports surfaced regarding serious legal moves and formal pushback against false reputational claims. For months, Caitlin Clark maintained her composure, choosing to focus on her game, lead her team in assists, and break rookie records on the floor. But when media commentary began crossing the line from standard sports opinion into targeted character assassination and reputational damage, the narrative shifted from public relations to potential legal accountability. Reports circulating through industry networks indicated that major media figures, including those at ESPN, were caught in total panic behind the scenes as the realization set in that athlete defamation and false racial narratives carry massive professional consequences. Industry insiders reported visible distress among commentators who realized that attacking a player's integrity and weaponizing identity politics against corporate-backed superstars could jeopardize broadcast contracts, network sponsorships, and long-term media careers. Ultimately, this entire chapter represents a major turning point in modern sports media history. The era where broadcast commentators could freely dismiss an athlete's hard work, diminish their generational talent, and push divisive narratives without facing public accountability is officially coming to an end. Caitlin Clark has proven that true star power is built on discipline, court brilliance, and unwavering integrity. She didn't ask for this media war, but by standing her ground, playing elite basketball, and letting the undeniable numbers speak for themselves, she is rewriting the rules of sports commentary. The fans have made their voice crystal clear. Hard work, merit, and authentic skill will always triumph over media spin and petty jealousy. What are your personal thoughts on how Monica McNutt and ESPN handled this situation? Do you believe media commentators should face stricter accountability for their takes? Let us know in the comments section below, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel for more breaking basketball updates.